You want to know why? If I were anybody, I would look at almost doing something very simple with D&D because simple it actually works. I think like doing a setting that's only human, and then maybe throw some of the jargon in, but purposely make it interesting at the same time. Do what a good nerd would do, AJ. Not just make it funny, but make it fun. Like strangely fun. Right? Like strangely good. Because there's a lot of things people like to do where it's like, I like some video games. Like some video games out there, they're really detailed. Right? Oh man, look at what you got to do. And there's some games just go, yeah, fuck it. We're going to like be really simple. And in the gameplay, that simplistic gameplay actually becomes a lot of fun. I would say take the new D&D, jack it down to something like simple, and do something neutral the way where there's some piss off in the process, but there's a sort of mix of here's things both sides might not like, but the game's actually really fun. Like you could do that. There could be a lot of interesting things you could do because think of it like starting with a blank canvas. You're being a little bit funny, but then it's like, well, what can you do with it? There's some interesting old school rules that would be interesting to check out. Actually, the Lankmar would be perfect for that. Perfect. Beautiful. Warhammer Space Marines who land on Tyrell because it just emerged from a warp storm. Called it Dragonhammer. You could get away with it doing that. I mean, that sounds pretty wild. If I were going to do anything right now, I would look at 4th edition naval rules. I'll give you a freebie here, AJ. Because Gary was so big into naval warfare. I think naval warfare, I don't know how well it's covered with 4th edition, but man, that would be the finishing touch if it didn't have something already to a game like that where you could say to strategic players here, and then even like do the flight. I know there's some already to do with that, but you could do flight. You could build up machines they could use. You could do a whole war section for 4th edition where it's naval, flight, add devices, do all this, and sort of create ways of doing like bigger conflict, but doing war. I mean, I don't know how many. I looked at the products for 4th edition. I don't see a lot of that there. As far as space, like doing the Space Marine thing, I don't know. In my game in Skullhorn, in the Neo system for that one, I have it's medieval fantasy, but in the game you can actually find like shotguns, rifles, and pistols, and there's even a form of coal. And so you could do a bit of steampunk, thrown in there somewhere. That leads to some wild things. But I find the gunplay really good. But yeah, 4th edition with Space Marines, cool. I'd like to see more naval stuff. Sea of Fallen Stars, aka the Sea of Sorrows. To those who were inhabited of it, it's a perfect setting for that. It's all coastal nations and pirate islands and undersea races and kingdoms. If that was something you were wanting to do a project on, that would be like, it'd just be so wild to go naval and really get into it. And to have that to support it, to put it together and say, here, I'm gonna actually put it here. Like just take what you're saying there and go, you have made an entire naval, system from fighting individual ships to bigger fighting to everything. In Skullhorn, I actually have naval warfare rules, for real. I have a siege warfare rules, so like sieging a town or whatever with like trebuchets and that. And then I even have an overall war system. So as in my own medieval fantasy game, I actually have an automated war system. You can actually do war for real. You can do siege warfare, less automated, more direct. and you can even do detailed naval warfare. I have it for the individual ships, and you can go back to the overall war to start doing more generalized stuff, right? But it's pretty big. Naval warfare is an issue I went into. I was like, I'm going to put together an entire system of how does the boat go down? How does it fall apart? And so I had to do a lot of research on boats and how they cave in, how many shots they take. And I started going, okay, I'm going to be as realistic as I can about this. And hopefully anyone who joins this thinking wargaming, they should see the rules I put down and be pretty happy. I personally put some miniature rules down, but they're very basic on purpose because my whole combat system is meant to be not basic overall. The ideas are cool into it, but as far as the mechanical side of it is purposely very basic and forward and straightforward. And that's for pacing. I like the ship warfare. I think it's dramatic, insane, blowing out the other ships up and how that works. I like the idea that you can sit there and shoot off like a pirate ship and just bring it down with no issues. That stuff is wild. I love naval stuff. That is, it's one thing I nerded out about when I was doing a little bit of wargaming myself. I did do Warhammer a bit, but I played with the humans. So, one of the weakest armies there is outside of the Space Marines. I mean, as far as humans outside of the Space Marines, but I mean, it's like Space Marines are tough. Almost every army is tough except for that one. You just got to get a lot of shots off. See, I have no problem with it. It just, it's how do you line that thing up when you say that? With a good DM who's not going to abuse you, then nobody cares. Like that description, then the DM-centric thing becomes no big issue at all. If a DM takes their authority and is really abusive with it or careless, that's where you get this bad, like, I don't want DMs to have control, but I'm like, well, look, here's your problem. If that guy's already a dick with the way he's doing things, my issue is I don't want to game with him even if the game controls him. I almost rather the freedom to see a guy behave a certain way and go, okay, yeah, I don't want to game with you. Because to me, it shouldn't even matter. If you have credibility and you have the right mind for running games, it shouldn't matter which game you're on. Oh, yeah. Although, I'd say this sometimes, Star Blazer, here's my honest take. It is hard to know these games and have a discussion most of the time, and to understand it from a certain viewpoint. I'd have to say there is an exception to being a game master of understanding, wisdom, and knowledge. I don't think it's all DMs that are part of the conversations, but I get what you're saying. I do agree with you. It's majority. It can, but you can't put the chains around the good DM, because you put the chains around the good DM, here's the problem. You get a mediocre game from a guy who's a dick, but now you also get a mediocre game from the guy who has talent to give you something more. That's what happens in games with too much control. So it's like the guy who could give you magic now can't do that. Why? He's running the game where you have control over things where that's a secret sauce for him. If he's good to you with it, that freedom is still required for him to achieve greatness. The thing is to take the freedom away to control the guy who's a dick. The problem is you're taking the same secret sauce control away from the guy who's using it to effectively run a much better game for you. And so what you're doing is you're taking even the guy with talent and you're saying talent doesn't matter here and it won't be able to be applied, but yet put him with a game where he has freedom to apply his talent, and you will have a better experience with that game than you will with the one that is controlling all DMs. So that's, I always say the best thing to do with bad game masters, and I never understood players growing up, was this. They tell me some horror story. I was in this, like by the third session, I'm just like looking at him, go, wait. Why didn't you leave? I wouldn't have had no game. I'm like, well, I'll go watch grass grow. That's my opinion. You give me ship players, I don't keep going. I just go, is that all the players I can get right now? Yeah. Okay, I'll go watch grass grow. What do you mean, Steven? I will not fucking game unless it's with people I want to game with. But then you won't have a game. Yeah, that means I won't have a game. But then I won't sit there and feel like I need to make a new game to get guys that aren't acting a certain way to act a certain way. Like they're giving away who they are. It's like, I'm okay. I'll go watch grass grow. Wait until I run into players that are more suited for this. That's it. And, you know, more game masters say pushed away bad players and bad players pushed away bad game masters. You have a thing called self-policing in the community. And it's like right now I have a hard time online getting players. It has to do with lies. It's not even good self-policing. But say you have real self-policing, where a game master is going out to recruit at certain clubs or certain places or online certain groups. Well, yeah, players are leaving their games because they're making major mistakes, and the player should be, instead of staying for abuse. That's an auto bad reputation. No, I totally get it. It's, you don't want to dismiss people how they feel. I just tell people, I think there's a balance of the character death thing. I want players to care about the characters. I do want that a connection made between the character and the player. I think that's important. I do want you to care. And the reason I want you to care at a certain point is because then you're more cautious. Right? Then you're more careful. Then you play better. The more you care about the character, the more you'll play the game in a much more wiser way in most cases. You'll speak better for who the character is because you're getting to know a character as you're making that type of connection with them. So when you care, that's good. Now, when you lose that character, I expect you to feel a little bad. Of course, I'm okay with it. But it's like, all right, dude, well, I hear it sucks. Because you're not just losing a character, you're losing an experience that has to be developed over time. So to get to the point where you care, you made a connection, that means your sessions with that character is immensely good. Right? That's a connection you made. That's going to be real. That's a great experience. You're not just losing a character, you're losing an experience. But regardless of that, the only thing I would tell a player is it sucks. You got to make a new character. We're not going to dismiss it. But please don't tell me not killing protecting the character is the right move. No. But do I want the caring part? Yes. I want the connection? Yes.